Okay guys, let's continue our discussion about ospf different areas. I want to change rather 4's network to a different area, that is the network that in area 0, and I want to put it in area 34 so that the neighborship is coming up again, and you can see the neighborship is now okay. Now I want to change the network that is between router 2 and router 4 to area 24. And now I save everything here. I go to router 2 and do the same here. Put these in area 24. And now I have different areas and everything should work as expected. I go to privilege mode and save everything. On router 2 I do the same. On router 3 I do the same. And on router 4 everything is saved already. Okay. Now I go to router 1 and check the neighborships. As a verification command, I show IP ospf interface brief as a better command there, checking the neighbors, and I can see that I have neighborship here. And of course, let's check the neighbor. I show IP ospf neighbors, tells me that I have created full neighborship. Now I do the same verification on other routers to see if everything is working okay, and you can see that I have neighborships on router 3 and on router 4 everything is working okay. So on router 1 I want to see the IP routing table using show IP route command, and you can see that I still have reachability to every area except one area, and you can see that I do not have connectivity to area 34. And this is the issue that I mentioned before. I do not have, connectivity to area 0 from area 34. I should have direct connectivity, and I can, of course, create it in several ways. As I told you, I have two approaches to do this. One of the approaches are creating a tunnel interface between, for example, router 4 and 2 or router 3 and 1, or either router 4 and 1. You can do it because the tunnel interface uses the base, IP route command, IP routing table, and if it can find the source and destination of tunnel, that will create the tunnel, whether the two endpoints are neighbor routers or not. Okay. Now, let's see the connectivity between other, parts. You can see that I have some of routes now flagged inter area, that is IA. That means this is not in my area, this is in another area. This is, for example, in area 24 or anything else. So IP ospf database command result will tell me that I have now another type of LSAs. That type is type 3, that is summary network link LSA. And you can see that I have only routers that are area border routers, the routers that are between two areas. The routers that have interfaces in different areas are area border routers. So they can create LSAs that are type 3. They can create summary networks, and they will advertise those summary networks into different areas. For example, router 1 is an ABR because it has different areas in its interfaces, and it can, of course, create summary LSAs from area 13 to area 0, and the vice versa. It can create some summary LSAs from area 0 to area 13, and I can see this here. You can see that summary networks for area 13 are here. And of course, I have summary networks for area 0 here. So ABRs are very important roles in our network. Okay, now let's go and fix the issue that we have with, this contiguous area here. In area 31, I want to add a virtual link, and I want to use this virtual link between, for example, router 3 and router 1 because this is the best route that I have. Of course, I can use other routes, or even between router 4 and 1 or router 3 and 2. That's easy as long as you have connectivity between the two routers. Now I want to create virtual interface using loopback interfaces. So I go to enable mode and router 1, for example, and I go to configuration mode. I go to router ospf 1 process, and I say that there is a virtual link that is, going through area 13, for example. So I add this command. Let's check if this is correct. I say this is area 13, and I add a virtual link through this area. And now you can see that I want to say that the endpoint is on router 3. So I mention an IP address that is on router 3, and I should add a consistent IP address that is the loopback interface. 150, 1, 3, and 3, and that's it. You can of course add other parameters here, but I added this. So I have a virtual link that is going through area 13 and connects to router 3. And on router 3, I should create the other end. So I create this. I go to configuration mode, and you can see this tells me that I have a virtual link that is not connected to another endpoint, so I have to create it first and see the result. Router ospf 1, and now area 13 is the way that I go through this. I create a virtual link, and it will connect to 150.1.1.1, that is router 1. And as soon as I do this, you can see that there is a neighborship between 1 and 3, and that is using ospf virtual link 0 interface. And now that I have this, I should have connectivity between area 34 and area 0. Let's see the IPOSPF neighbors command result, and you can see that I have now this extra neighborship between router 1 and router 3, and that's a virtual link. And now I should go to router 1 and check the IP routing table, and now you can see that I have reachability to the area 34 routes as inter-area routes. And now this is what I have done. So I created a virtual link that goes through area 13, and it worked for me, and area 34 is now accessible through area 0 or any other area. Now this is one approach. I can create another approach, of course, and that would be tunnel interface. To do this, I remove the virtual link first. I remove this virtual link interface, and on router 3 I do the same. Now that I don't have the virtual link, I again have this split area from area 0, and now I add some tunnel interface between, for example, router 3 and 1, router 3 and 2. It doesn't matter which endpoint you choose, as soon as you have connectivity between the source and destination, IP addresses of those two. I use router 3 and 1, for example. On router 1, I create this interface tunnel, for example, 13, and I add an IP address to this interface. IP address is, for example, 144 or 13. This is very address. 13, 13, 13, 1, 255, 255, 255, 0. And now that I have this IP address, I want to assign the source and destination of this interface. So tunnel source would be 150.1.1.1, and tunnel destination is 150.333. And as soon as you created the tunnel destination, the interface should come up and should be in up state. Okay, I add this interface to ospf, of course. So I go to router ospf1 and I add network 13.13.13.1 0.0.0.0 to area 0. Okay, now this is in area 0 in this part. And let's go to the other end. On router 3, I create the same interface tunnel, and I will name it tunnel 13. I add an IP address to it, 13.13.13.3, 255.255.255.0. I assign the tunnel source as 150.133, and tunnel destination should be 150.111. And now I have this, and I go to router ospf, and you can see the tunnel interface is coming up. Okay, router ospf1, and I add this to ospf process in area 0. Now I have an interface in area 0 that is on router 3. So these ends should, become neighbors again because I have this. Let's check the connectivity between the endpoints. Do ping 13.13.13.1, and it should work in a while. If it doesn't work, I should check the configuration. And first of all, I want to check the configuration here. I have the IP addresses. Let's see, to show run interface tunnel 13, excuse me. I can see this is tunnel destination, tunnel source, and IP address is there. And I can of course add tunnel mode, but tunnel mode is by default GRE IP, and that's okay for me. And let's see this here to show run interface tunnel 013. And the same configuration is here, and there is no mismatch between the configuration. Destination and source is set correctly on here. Destination here we have a destination mismatch. So I copy this and paste this here and correct the destination. Now I have the correct destination here. And now I should check the ping result, and it's not working, and I should check why it is not working. First of all, I should check to see if 150.133 is available. So to do this, I should ping this destination. You can see the destination is not available here. Let's see why it is like this. So if I go to router 3 and check the show running config and the section of router ospf, I can see that I have this in area 0, and this is not the correct configuration on router 3 because I should assign this to area 13 here. And now that I have this in area 13, everything should work correctly because router 3 is in area 13, and its loopback interface should be there. And now you can see that this destination is accessible. The two endpoints of tunnel now create a neighborship, and you can see that this neighborship is through tunnel 13, and everything is working. Now if I go to router 3, I can easily see that the ping is working. Yeah? Yes. Now everything is working, and because this tunnel interface exists here on router 3, I have area 0 on router 3, and area 34 is connected to area 0. So everything should work correctly. Now let's check the IP routing table, and you can see that I have connectivity to this network again, and everything is working correctly.